Hohenheim. Okay. We're gonna fight anomalies at headquarters? Crazy.
카니발 타임.
So like, this is the guy, right? That we like seen the shadow of him at the first like, I don't know, scene. Hello there, Wander. Thank you. Right. I'm waiting for something to happen, or we're all suddenly unfamiliar with the concept of introducing ourselves. Given that no one appears to be willing to introduce me, allow me the liberty of self-introduction. Is he? Is he really? I mean, like, as Faust isn't like Faust without the like her computer thingy, or like with all together. My name is Hohenheim, the chief researcher of this company. And then, like, chief researcher of the Limbus company. To be precise, he's the chief researcher of the LCE department. To be more precise, I am the chief researcher responsible for the entirety of Limbus company. To be even more precise, the only reason he retains the role is because Yisang and I have been excluded from the research personnel files due to our statuses as sinners. Someone must stay behind to continue the research after all. Привет. So you two are friends? While it seems entirely unnecessary to establish a label on this relationship, it can be said that we are acquaintances who routinely and unwillingly maintain a regular level of communication with one another. I'm in agreement. There's time since we were acquainted. I heard that our department has reached out several times to yours to remind you of this regular checkup. The nature of the LCB department necessitates that we are constantly on the move from one nest to another, which makes it rather difficult for us to give you an immediate reply. I would have expected someone like you to already be well aware of this obvious detail. Yes, I was very well aware. Good evening. I'm also quite aware of the fact that your department has been giving us that same reply over and over again, like an answering machine. This must be Dante, the executive manager of the Limbus company, sinners. I'd like to say hi. Nice to meet you, but I don't suppose he can hear what I'm saying. The manager extends their greetings. Charmed, it's grueling and arduous work to be in a position of leadership, especially when communication issues come into play. Sometimes, I cannot help but wonder if my researchers and I are even speaking the same language, so I do commiserate. Who are those, like? How odd their clothes are. Oh yes, allow me to introduce you to Merton and Elisa, two of the few researchers directly in my command. They wearing gear extracted from abnormalities? But how? Happy to have someone who recognizes them. Like hair scavenger from the Parmeral Corp? While there are partial similarities to their gears, enough differences are present to distinguish them. Indeed, we attempted our own brand of extractions, successfully I might add. While the news of the production of Ego Gear and Limbus Company style was already received, this is the very first time they are observed in person. It must have abnormalities contained in this facility. So that's why I've been sensing abnormalities in here. but I'm sensing distortions and peculiar too. Indeed, they are as they are containment and research subjects for the OC department as well. Faust closely observed the eagle gear Hohenheim was wearing, like an exceptionally hard judge in a fashion contest. Apart from a few imperfections in the finish, the level of eagle extraction visible here is quite acceptable. Input appreciated. This is a product of thousands of repeated experiments and subsequent failures that have been meticulously conducted and studied in order to extract it with an acceptable level of stability. But at the end of the day, I did it, like I always do. You did it? You should want to take all the credit when your team is standing right behind you. We're used to it. Piss off. Couldn't imagine surrounded by these self-absorbed twats. Just about ready to get fined on some poor bastard. Let's get on with the checkup so we can get back to the boss, yeah? With the various emergency you express, there is much we must cover, regrettably, given that this is the first ever regular checkup performed as a group since your employment. Faust also does not wish to pass more time without substance. Let us begin. But well, our first task shall be to assess your abilities in response to emergency situations. Wait, you just pressed something. Emergency situations. The walls of the laboratory suddenly started separating and sliding into place. When it settled, I realized that it had locked the sinners away in some kind of hold, isolating them from me, Virgilius and Karen. What the hell? This is just an ambush. Yes, it is. The purpose of this test is to measure your behaviors and response in case of surprise attack, so ambush it is. Was this discussed beforehand, Virgilius? Look anxious, Dante. Well, I suppose you weren't let in on it either. I wasn't for your information. Just go with the flow, Dante. So it goes. We'll be in an apt response. We'll find a room somewhere where Karen and I might sit down and enjoy some nice tea. You can find me with Faust once this is over. Karen wants cake. Karen wants cake too. Get some leftover cake from our last office party. Come this way, please. An employee appeared and led Virgilius and Karen away into the nearby office room. Okay, so this is the regular checkup. Okay, so this is the regular checkup. Let's get it done. Let's get this done for real. So we're not going to fight our mirror selves yet. Just some Pikachu, I guess, this time. I'm just gonna be running this one. Actually, I didn't check how much of them do we need to kill. But that shouldn't be a problem. Because they're not 69 HP. Okay, this one has 200 though. It shouldn't be the problem otherwise. I don't how much time I have left to complete the railway dungeon. Because, oh, I need to finish my rusher team. Okay, so we have 3 waves, it seems. I mean, aren't really that much damage. I think they're not really weak to our attacks. I mean, this one was kind of alright. Okay, so this is turn 3 and we still have 2 waves. I don't know. Can we do this in 10 turns?
완성되었나?
We're getting buffed though, so shouldn't be a problem.
총원 돌격!
Nice.
비뚤어졌구려.
Yeah. This became pretty easy. It's like we got like the blood pass going. Just finished the wave like in 1 turn. Which I don't think will happen with this one. But well, 2 turns it is. I haven't killed like a single one yet. I guess like the previous wave was weaker to my attacks. Okay, I killed one of them.
떨거지는 잘라낸다.
I hope we finish now. I don't know, I should have like just did a rupture build from the start. Like blood fiends are kinda nice, but they take like lots of time to like actually start doing damage. So I guess I didn't really knew what I was doing. Went through various tests, including command ability trials using Spectacular NVIDIA. Pleasure, Squire. Anyhow, I have attained a score almost perfect. Is it possible, Miss Don Quixote, in the constants of knowledge? Was that delve further in my studies? Hey, Sangbei. You're testing our fixed association knowledge. Totally. Honestly, she's got more than enough fixed fixation for the entire bus. Fixed fixation, yeah. What kinds of general knowledge trivia quizzes? What's the first thing you focus on when meeting a new person? The look in their eyes? How strong they look? Bloody hell, this ain't easy. Your leadership style is strong, decisive, and goal-oriented. You're Mersault. You're Mersault? I guess. That's like how I should have read it in the first place. We were finally allowed a quick break after going through all kinds of mysterious, strange personality tests as well. Next, basic fitness tests for all sinners. We can finally get started on the real meat of this checkup. Wait, what were all those tests you guys were running as? They were conducted in order to collect various data that the LCB department has been missing. In other words, we capitalized on this opportunity to fulfill our private curiosities. Still, I'd say it was very productive. We now know a lot about you guys that will help us support the LCB going forward. Right, we're gonna go over some tests that can be conducted in groups first. Please form a line here. What? Like this? Let's get this over with. Looks like we've got a long day ahead of us. Oh, there's some comfy clothes they've given us. Right, I could really see myself wearing this, so sleep. Sleep? They're LCB property, so we'd return them as soon as we are done here. Gotcha. By the way, can I take a look at my wrist here before we actually get started? I've been feeling a bit of soreness there, but Dante won't turn on the clock for just me, you know? Turning on the clock for such trivialities because the information of an because the formation of an unaffordable habit. Perhaps Mersault can remedy a pain. I was prepared to administer necessary aid, should you request it. Actually, you know what? We'll be fine now. Don't you worry. Please, stand still. If you think I can see some of your tiptoes, you'll be very wrong. Use on the ground, please. So like, I don't know, what can we gather from here? Like Marsalt is like the highest one. Then like Honglu and Heathcliff. And then Rory of all people. Is like Sinclair the shortest? Oh, I think Don Quixote is basically, but still kind of weird. She's like 6 feet, like, fuck. Her heels are on the ground. And can you snuff out her cigarettes before the test begins? This one isn't late. Just here so I can look cool. What about bald? Scram. Okay, basic group tests are complete. I seem to have forgotten something quite important. I had to establish prior. I seem to have forgotten something quite important I had to establish prior to beginning the tests in earnest. I need an assistant. An assistant? I need an assistant to help me smooth out the testing procedures. You 2 of them are already. Right behind you. If you are in directions. Oh, we're not Mr. Hohenheim's assistants. We're specifically assistant researchers. Yes, of course. There is much that distinguishes these 2 occupations. I would like for one of you to be my assistant for the duration of this checkup. Will you suddenly raise your hand? I wasn't planning on asking for volunteers, but now that you've raised your hand, I'll give you the floor. Don't ask me to do it. Just not my vibes, you know. I'll take a researcher job, though. I'm a big fan of her style. I showed off, greedily caressing the clothes of one of the researchers. What? What are you doing? I didn't really have you in mind anyway. Dully nodded, nonetheless. I would also like to refuse your nomination. The position of an assistant Hockenheim implies that said assistant is, when it comes to skill, inferior to the person they're assisting. Again, I didn't have you in mind either, but your passionate expression of intent is nonetheless appreciated. Whoever came up with this brilliant idea of putting 2 smartasses together to waste time pointing out each other's minor mistakes. If I were to talk about myself, I would open by saying that I was a class vice president in a school, a diligent moral student who assiduously facilitated the tasks of the class president in... What's with everyone getting so anxious to get picked here? Fellas actually want to be his assistant. Getting in the front and center of things is just bothersome, you know? Kinda feel like I had to apply for the position, for some reason. Well, the decision has already been made. Do know that the selection criteria is fully based on my very subjective opinion. You there, orange hair sinner. Ishmael almost threw me to the ground as she confidently strode up to the front of the line. Greetings, Mr. Hohenheim. You must be aware if you have taken a look at my documents. I've rarely let anyone down during my various tenures at offices and associations. You have nothing to worry as long as I'm by your side. Also, can I add this experience to my resume if I ever get the chance to submit a transfer request to work at the headquarters? Didn't know you were still holding to that hope. I called on you to ask you to move, because you were standing in front of the scenery I choose. Yeah. Sorry for Ishmael. Everyone turned around to look at Heathcliff, who was absent-mindedly scratching at the the bridge of his nose. Huh? Me? It seemed that Ishmael was even more shocked than Heathcliff was. But why? I'm not here. Why did you pick someone like... It's a common misconception among many researchers to assume that the higher their level of education and the more elaborate their resume, the better candidate one makes for a research project participant. But that's just common sense, isn't it? At least when it comes to research. However, were you aware that most great discoveries are made from a potent mix of spontaneity and intuition? Perfect description. Perfect descriptor for our friend here, I would say. What say you, Heathcliff? I believe that this aggressive and passionate approach of yours gives you more than sufficient qualification to command and lead them in my stead. Is that right? He replied, scratching his head. Honest now, he's saying. You're kinda looking forward to getting picked, don't you? It's but fate that thinks better once. It's but fate that thinks that once. Okay, I need to collect myself. It's but fate that thinks that were once good in the eyes of the mainstream are to be made less desirable with the passage of time. And when one does indeed fall out of favor, the intelligentsia of the bygone days might rightly excuse themselves to the realm of memories in the past. Ishang replied, with a particular downcast look. I'm glad to have you on board as my new assistant. Right. So, what have I got to do now? Nothing too complicated. You only need to liberally express your free spirit, just as you are now. Now I see what he's doing. One can sure knows which one of the group to coax to make things go over smoothly. Martin whispered quietly at me in a voice that only I could hear. Is it like just me, or because the stories in intervals are getting longer and longer each time? Kinda feels like it though. Cliff seemed eager to, so he perhaps had suggested, express his free spirit to the best of his capabilities. Right you there, get in line. Single file, lads, let's make this easy for all of us. But aren't you also participating in the tests with the rest of us, Heathcliff? Yeah, but I'm the assistant. Since when do you wear glasses? All of them? Glasses are basis apparatus of all the searchers. Slightly pushing up on the glasses helps to put on the air of studious, alert individual, like so. Just like how slightly pushing up the frames of my glasses while wondering what I have for lunch make it seem as though I'm contemplating on the more profound aspects of life. Let's not make this any harder than it's gotta be, lass. Sniff out that cig in your mouth. Been a while since I heard a pig squeal. Blimey, can I just do it as safe for once? It's actually pretty effective. It seems that we are now ready to conduct the tests. Finally. The primary purpose of this test is to see on a physical level how your current abilities scale compared to yourselves before your hiring. I see. They're trying to see how much they've progressed since before they joined the company. Had a feeling this would happen, but the mere mention of the words progression caused a rather loud ruckus amongst the thinners. If I just speak for myself, Executive Manager, I can confidently say that this sort of progressing as a person and all aspects of life is ingrained into my very being. Thus, as a fruit of those efforts, I have grown to be much more precise and scathing in my critique of others' mistakes. Is that progress, though? Perhaps I have learned to let certain thoughts rest in favor of others. I once allowed myself to be trapped in overlong ruminations on worries of all manners, idly abiding as I was consumed by my very thoughts. Now, I have come to accept certain things as they are, and I've come to sometimes allow my mind to form bereft of rigorous reason, floating away gently, as though on a rolling sea stream. Is that not quite pleasant? Okay, I guess that is progression of sorts. Pretty sure I'm less of a picky eater than I used to be. My grip strength is much stronger too. Look, I think I'm getting calluses on my palms. You don't really have to prove it to us, because the enemies we're fighting have been getting stronger too. That's an undeniable truth. We experienced a pretty spectacular year, you know. A brutal year, yet so potent with significance. True. I guess growth really does come with time. Right. But like the bonds between us got a lot deeper. We all grown closer, you know. Like glue. Like glue. I like it. Such misunderstanding seems to be brewing in tandem. This uplifting exchange of heart to hearts. Allow me to step in and nip it in the bud. Let me give it to you straight. All your abilities were diminished the moment you were hired by this company. Equally defanged and devoured, if you will. Equally defanged? I think I go like get myself some more tea and I'll be back. Yeah, I'm back. Got myself more tea. Other boards, all their abilities have been brought down to the, oh yes, to the same general level as our 11th senior here. Who's 11th senior though? By a Meyer point of reference. This is what you mean earlier by growing closer, like glue. And I suppose it was quite the apt choice of words. Take that back. I take it back. You're not truly that much stronger than I am. Sing. Is that the sound of your sense of self-preservation shattering to the ether? That's it, you bloody... Excuse me. And you know why that happened. You all get devoured because of the golden bow? Wait, does this have anything to do with those chains that appeared when we first entered into contract with Dante? Indeed, one of the powers of a golden bow is connection. You are now, fairly, evenly, and equally mediocre. Hohenheim's comment and the subsequent stares seemed a bit targeted. Think of it as something akin to clip-off deterrence employed by the Lobotomy Corporation. So the truth is finally revealed. This is why I, Otis, grew so pathetically weak the moment I joined this company. I mean, Don Quixote, was pretty powerful, I guess. Wasn't she, with all her abilities and stuff? Although implying that those has always known. Of course, had I been in my prime, could have wiped the floor with you miserable dormits in a matter of seconds. Wiped the floor with dormits. We're also prone to saying whatever once the burden of proof is gone. So that's why my murderous arm's been quiet ever since they hired me. Didn't really have anything to do with my heart after all. Gregor. Stays of all this chatter. What matters is that we've all been thrown down to the level of the light. But I got calluses on my palms. Yet, not all of the golden bow's effects have been of detriment to us. Things started. Careful attempted to navigate through a conversation that appeared to be torn into tinderbox. Was it not that advantage granted to us by the golden bow, impaled in the pallid whale of the Great Lake by which we triumphed? What? Really? Correct. The pallid whale being at its full strength, it's highly likely that we may still have been trapped inside its stomach, struggling to survive. Also, it can also be said that the diminishing effect was not applied in equal measure across all affected subjects. It makes sense, I guess. I could have knocked Heath out with one punch if I wasn't only as strong as Sinclair. It's really a handy trick, you know. Additionally, certain individual quirks will be suppressed by the golden bow. Certain quirks that one may consider to be an individual's idiosyncrasies. So that explains Hiroshi's impressive blade work with Mr. Bumble back at the T-Corp factory. What makes my breath bursting? You never do anyway. Well, your strength have indeed progressed since the onboarding, and the average must have risen as well. One of the purposes of these tests is to measure that very difference. What exactly goes into these tests? I know there is a district that uses the machine that can analyze most aspects of the subject with a quick scan. So, is it going to be something like that? There are dozens, not hundreds of ways to determine one's abilities without the assistance of machinery. And in fact, I know of a perfectly appropriate methodology for this group. Perfectly appropriate methodology. Spend some time out of your busy schedules to tailor each test for each sinner of the LCB. That's pretty tough. Have you guys know? Tailor tests for each sinner. I don't really like the sound of that, if you ask me. You utilize the Picatula and the distortion phenomenon. That doesn't sound like some super innovative method you're putting up to. Put that down. Right, honestly, what their talk? I thought they'd come up with something more impressive than that. Assistant? Right, that's enough chatter. Now get in there. You're basically using like Heathcliff as a bodyguard. That's an assistant for you. Okay, so get like a second encounter after today's stream. I can only use those two. Okay, let's pick like this Sinclair.
말뚝을 쑤셔 넣어주죠.
Wait again, can I use supports? Yeah, I can. I was gonna use like a level 50 Sinclair.
불로 정화하고 깨끗한 세계를 세우라.
Let's see. First one on the block is Heathcliff had already begun flipping through the papers in his hand. What an unfamiliar sight. Right. You in there. Inside now. Heathcliff, the assistant, pointed toward Hunglu and Sinclair. Hello? 1, 2, testing. Am I coming through? You must be well aware by now. The Picatula are entities that have failed to have undisturbed. It seems like we'll be fighting the Picatula again. Right, I have a question. It's something that's been nagging me the whole time since I arrived. Aren't these tests basically just us killing people for no reason? They're all safely contained, which means that they don't pose any danger to anyone. It's been such a bleeding heart all of a sudden. I've been slaughtering countless scores of those cells, so what's the hold up now? Yeah, but we didn't have any choice back then, because we were on a mission and... I believe that taking life to live is like taking a life for the sake of it. I do. I understand. It seems that human memories, after all, might be finite. Except for exceptional individuals, people are prone to misplacing memories even from yesterday. So who are they, Dante? Who do you believe they are? This group you lead. Given the expected communication difficulties between us, allow you to make this a multiple choice question. 1. Family. 2. Friends. 3. Colleagues. If they're closest to colleagues, Dante says 3 colleagues. Goes practically squished against the containment unit window, holding up 3 of his fingers. Must have heard us talking. Incorrect. It's none of the above. The truth is they're sinners. Not family, not friends, not colleagues. Prisoners. I know. But the knowledge of something and the acceptance of it must be distinguished. I learned that people are prone to forgetting their places when the going gets easy, when life becomes comfortable enough for them to consider the luxury of timely meals to be a certainty. Thus I find these reminders to be quite useful. These sinners, bound to Limbus company, are still fettered by their chains and shackles. Naturally, they have no access to such a thing as the right to refuse. Or would it be easier for you to accept that fact, if I suggest that you consider this but a mere extension of your responsibilities? Now they're sinners, but you can talk to them like... Translations are necessary. I think I get the picture of what was said, given the atmosphere of this room. Dante, When you agreed to the contract, you must have made a deal of sorts to gain something to your benefit. Am I correct? Your memories, your head, and your past. There might be so much that you would like to know, and perhaps you desire to get them back. It would stop you from simply quitting. Do we actually, like, someday we'll see Dante with his head? What I'm to say with this little demonstration is that no one in this room has any right to grumble or refuse. First, is he usually... Yes, this is his usual demeanor. Hello, I know I'm not the one to talk. You don't exactly have a lot of friends, do you? Those who rise above their peers tend to attract a certain degree of hostility from others. Now, shall we begin? We're severely behind schedule. While the combatants do what they do, please pay attention to the following presentation about the Picatula project under this glass panel. This lecture has been prepared with the assumption that its students have an average level of knowledge. So if you consider this presentation to be boring or too difficult to understand, then you may consider your knowledge level to be below average. This material seems quite elementary to me. Not sure what's so difficult about this. Yeah, save that for when the lecture actually starts. As you already know, there are 7 categories of Picatula, and as far as I'm aware, the highest stage of Picatula observed was in stage 3. So far at least. Oh, you saw like... I guess that's kind of foreshadowing of like more powerful monsters we're going to fight. But for this, though, I utterly little mattering of, so far at least, at the end of thine words, good sir. Sharp. Oh, simple. Researchers have a habit of avoiding absolutes in all things. Never say never, or so they say. So we're not ruling out the possibility that we might be running into Picatula beyond stage 3. Indeed, prefer not to put down such arbitrary limitations. Anyway, the first type of mighty Picatula to be covered today is Picatula Uriah. Red Picatulum of Wrath. The nature of fire is to burn, and burn till there is nothing left to be burned. I see. They're quite literally burning with rage. Now that I think back on it, didn't you express something like that before, Sinclair? I remember you screaming so fiercely that you could hardly control your own body. On the other hand, I don't think I've ever seen you get angry or upset, Honglu. And that's because the realization of meaningless extinguishes the reason for the spark to start a fire. See now, you know how much Heathcliff or Miss Otis bully me, expressing my anger that is meaningless at the end of the day. Okay, I did enjoy it a little when I had to accidentally step on Heathcliff's toes, but... What exactly is takeaway supposed to be here? Yes, that is exactly how it is. I don't like... Why do like... Limbus company uses like cassette tapes? Don't they have like computers and stuff? There is a guy streaming with the phone. What like the cassette tapes for? Like the level design is sometimes kind of like weird. I mean, it's pretty stylish, but like... I don't know, like, those computers seem to be, like, really old.
운이 따라준다면 좋겠네요. 운이 따라준다면 좋겠네요. 너무 쉽군요. 너무 쉽군요.
You can go just use double kill. Okay, like his skill 3 sometimes is pretty useful. But there is a question mark then. Are they not sure what kind of Pikachu they're sending towards us? I feel like at the laboratory or something. They should, like, I guess the research center would be more appropriate to say, but anyway, I think they should know what they have in here.
불길 속으로. 운이 따라준다면 좋겠네요.
Okay, I like.
좋아.
Is he gonna lose the clash? Okay, no. It's all good.
좋아. 단테님 봤어요? 운이 따라준다면 좋겠네요. 떼어내주지. 불길 속으로.
I mean, yeah, like those, the regular these don't really get powered up. Unlike the, well,
도움이 필요하세요? 단테님?
like the blood fiends I wanted to say.
운이 따라준다면 좋겠네요. 그 오물을 떼어내주지.
On 17 damage. Like, what's that? Am I gonna, like, not be able to finish this
단테님 봤어요?
in, like, what? 9 turns? Ah, I think I will be able to do this actually.
운이 따라준다면 좋겠네요.
Yeah, I think we're good.
재밌네요. 너무 쉽군요. 어라, 언제 다 해치웠담? 이제 가도 되죠?
Let's see. Oh yeah, there wasn't like a turn goal. It was like 50+% of health up goal. Did the Pikachu within the time limit? There is a time limit? I think it's like my first time seeing this. Okay, now it's Mercel and Faust. Would need. Let's see what I have here. I mean, I probably shouldn't be using her. Okay, I can use my priest Gregor. And then I guess like I can use like him. And is she like okay, she's charge. I don't need charge. I actually need bleed, I think, right? They should be good, maybe. I don't know. Let's try it this way. Next up, you three. Let's get in there. Your voice will too bad. We can hear just fine without you shouting at the top of the lungs. Now, let's discuss Picadillum Pigrity Sloth. Stones are sturdy, but that's all there is to them. They're directionless and unmoving, completely surrendered to inertia. They're trapped in their current lot in existence, until someone else comes along to throw them away. Truly, there is no better symbol to sloth than them. Sufficient to live within the bounds of rigidly established routines. I can love and these two is making me real self-conscious all of a sudden. Like I'm just some lazy, incompetent. Don't compare yourself to Faust, Gregor. Should Faust become the point of reference for one's competency, the overwhelming majority of the city population be deemed incompetent. I'll admit that I'm not the most diligent person in the room, but I'm taking back that comment about being incompetent. Check this out, fellas. I'm not that rusty just yet. Charge along to dangerous poses. Charge along to dangerous poses. Too late. Be harder than expected. Let's provide assistance. Oh yeah, like those are literally stones. Can we read this also? What's like the time limit though? Turn limit. Okay, I have like 9 turns to do though. Let's just do that. I mean, she actually does good damage. And Gregor seems also to be pretty effective against them. I guess this guy will have to take some of the... Okay, this is turn 3. I don't know, we could have maybe do it like in, I guess, we didn't finish it in 3 turns. Crazy stuff. Okay, more stones. Okay, this is like an attack weight of 1. Which isn't really helpful in this situation. Okay. Can I even do it like without the like Marsota identity? And this is gonna be hard. Wait, I actually just realized something. I can just use Gregor, right? You have to be like doing considerable amount of damage. Yeah, I probably should just use Gregor. They also do give me like all of the turns from the get-go. I don't mean like all of the turns, I've meant like actually all of the skill slots. I get 6 like at the beginning. So you don't need like stale for turns. Yeah. We are not beating into 9 turns. This way at least. Maybe. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna happen. Oh, we could always try. Let's see. No way we're taking like 400 damage here. She didn't even like win her clash with an okay. With the regular skill. She did pretty good though. Yeah. Can we even do this like in 10 turns? I don't think, right? And the way things are going. That looks pretty bad actually. I'll just think about it. I don't think we're gonna lose at least. Maybe. Okay, the priest's gonna heal now. Which is good. It's really good. Nah, Marcel is down for her. I mean, Gentoo didn't need him anyway. I should have, like, taken Marcel here. What? Did, like, Faust also died? Nah. I think I'm gonna, like, end the stream kinda now. To actually finish this. No way, I just lost the fight. Like, I legit just like lost the fight here. This is insane stuff. Okay, I'm dealing with this tomorrow. I'm not ready right now. I'm just gonna end the stream, I think. I mean, we're kind of productive, I guess. Like, we did, what? Like, 6 of them today? Oh, not 6. We did 6, like, at all. We did, like, 3 of those today. Well, baby steps, I guess. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. See you next time.